welcome to episode 93 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dilz, and across the microphone, we have Deagin, as always.
Hey, how's it going?
So the things we're going to be talking about today are some more game integrity changes. This one's a big one. It's finally here. We also, as most people probably know, we suffered from a pretty extreme bug this week.
Arguably, like, the biggest bug, I guess?
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one. On top of that, we got some opinions on the Oldschool RuneScape mobile from different communities who don't necessarily play Oldschool RuneScape.
Some dead man mode complaints from this season?
Oh, really? I'm not aware of that one. Okay, so
I completely forgot until now. But yeah.
Some dead man mode complaints. Okay, and lastly, a topic that might be interesting to discuss on the theme of scamming. Or if this example we will be talking about later could be classified as a scam. But before we get on into all of that, how's your week going?
No, actually not that eventful. In terms of RS, I've been jumping on, doing daily herb. Been doing a lot of herb farming. That's honestly pretty much it. I've done a tiny bit of Slayer today. I think that's it. Just like merching and farming. I'm kind of like getting burnt. So for my skilling grind, I mentioned like every week, but all I really need now is 85. So I think 4 more agility levels and then 87 farming, which is like 10 more farming levels, which you will get them both roughly at like the same time, pretty much, or at least I would. I think.
Right.
If I were to do my tree runs and stuff daily and all that good stuff. But I'm kind of getting bored of like just skilling all the time, so I'm kind of burnt out. But I still want to play. Like I jump on RS and I want to actively play, but like Slayer just doesn't really seem that fun. I did like a Chamber of Xerix, but honestly, dude, I was just like, I walk into Mutadiles and just go AFK. Like, I'm so, like, not caring that, like, I start attacking the little Mutadile, and I just get up and go to the bathroom, come back, and I'm like, oh, fuck, right, I'm doing a raid. I'm dead now. That actually happened.
I guess that'll get you.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, anyways, I only bring that up because I decided to say, fuck it. Let's do some PvP-oriented stuff this week. I haven't started it yet, but I will as soon as we're done recording. I'm going to start, like, PvPing every day. I dropped 30 mil in supplies, bought an AGS, got, like, Like, I'm not doing Edgeville. I'm not doing that trash. I want to go deep wildy and kill some guy woodcutting. That's what I want to do, you know?
That's the way to do it. That's how you dip your feet into the wilderness.
Yeah, I invested 30 mil, and in my mind, I'm just pretending that I don't have that money anymore. So if I die, so when I get smited for my AGS, like I don't really care. Like I'm just pretending that I just don't have that money. And I did the math, and this is like pretty nuts, but I ended up getting 90 to 90 or 92 to 99 prayer just from merching. If I use like I have to use a Chaos Altar, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like over 30 mil, with like Dragon Bones and Wyvern Bones and stuff. And so I have 99 prayer banked. So I thought, hey, you know what? Let's just like, either I got free 99 prayer or free PKing supplies. But I've made over 30 mil just from flipping and merching while doing this big skilling grind.
Damn. That's always nice. It's free income.
It's really nice passive income. It is pretty annoying. I mean, you might get annoying because every now and again, I send you a PM. Can I jump on your Pure and just use your GE? I'm full on mine, and I have to do that quite a bit.
Is it because you're buying a bunch of different items, or is it because you're hitting the buy orders the daily buy order?
Because I'm just buying so many different items. So the way I'm doing it, there are people, I want to say did or better. There's somebody who has like some YouTuber who has like 17 fucking accounts, and all of his accounts are members, and he flips for bonds on all the accounts, which is pretty fucked. So like I don't want to get to that point where I'm like flipping on a million accounts, hitting buy limits nonstop. Typically, like the way I merchant is I dedicate 2 slots to buy limit items, so like fire runes or like ether or whatever, like just low priority flips that you make a little bit of money, you're hitting the buy limit, you know, every time. And then the rest of them are like, this week I was doing teleport tabs just for the fun of it, just want to try it out, where I just buy under price and flip for, extra 300-400 profit each. If I can
Alright.
flip over like 1,000 of one item a day and make 400 on each, which I did, easy money, right?
I guess so.
I don't like doing like flipping whips or like big high ticket items. I think the best thing I did was Dragon Claws. I flipped for like 1.5 mil, but that's like too much of having all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah,
So I like to.
It's a big win or a big loss.
Yeah. So typically I'll look for content that I'm doing. So, I won't say outright what I'm flipping, but, I'm doing herb runs and I'm like, I can't really be bothered to buy. Like, I'm buying this for 50% overpriced. I don't really care because I just want a couple teleports now. And then I use that mindset to like, all right, well, I'll just flip that item. And that's kind of what I do. That's how I figure out which items I want to flip. Anyways, yeah, so I haven't really done much, but I guess this next episode, you'll probably hear me say, yeah, I lost 30 mil PKing.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like me trying to like I want to play the game, but I'm just fucking bored and maybe I'm a little burnt out. So I just like, I went from PVMing nonstop for like fucking half a year to like skilling for a month. Like I went pretty hard though. Like, I got 99 like thieving and I got like all those rune crafting, fishing and crafting, and it's not like I'm taking it light. Like I go pretty hard.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. You go pretty hard for upwards to a bunch of months, and then you just you need to step back and take a little bit of a break, right?
Yep.
Maybe do some fun things that you're not going to be getting experience, something you're just doing for the pure enjoyment of it. Or sometimes you gotta do something you're barely playing the game. You're just AFKing something while you watch some Netflix, you maybe play another game on the side.
Yeah. So, I guess that being said, unrelated to RuneScape, I've just been playing a lot of random games with my buddies and whatnot. We just like get together and we'll pick a random game and play it.
Any recommendations? Any early access games you're diving into?
Slap City.
Slaps. Oh, that's that Smash Brothers clone, right?
Yeah. That game's actually pretty fun. It's really fun to just mess around. The characters are really fucking cool. And it's just really silly. Like, I mean, maybe I like it so much because I fucking smash my buddies. I fucking own them every time. It's awesome. Do some nutty ass plays on them. But it's really fun. Just like late. It's like $8 Canadian. So like $1 American. And it's really cheap and it's fun though. And then I've been playing, Slay the Spire as always. And then I went really hard in Terraria. I've been going really hard this week in Terraria.
So you're having fun with that game?
Yeah. I had probably mentioned it last week, but the first time I played it, the game had just come out. Like, this was during the whole Minecraft phase where, like, Starbound and all those games were coming out. And, like, Terraria was, like, I think the first one to kind of come out that was like, oh, it's a copy of Minecraft.
So it was different when it first came out. I might have been the one to recommend it to you. I don't remember. But I was playing it, and I saw it either go on sale, or I just saw it was only like $10 or something on Steam. So I purchased it, started playing it, and I remember my first thoughts were, wow, this is like a 2D Minecraft, except it seems more based on the combat, and there's more like magic items.
There's actual progression in the game, which is nice. Yeah. So I started playing it again, and they've added so much to the game, and I'm kind of just like going through it, and it's super grindy. I've put in like a ton of time. I have like one multiplayer character that I play with my buddies on a server that I'll host and we'll all just jump on and play together. And then I have one of my single player. But it's really fun making like all these, cool little farms. You can make some like AFK farms so I can just stand there, just get a bunch of money and like materials and stuff while I'm playing RuneScape or doing something else. Pretty fun to like figure out ways to do that. And then just, the general progression of your items and stuff is really nice. Sorry, there's a train coming by. You guys probably hear that.
I see it come through every now and then.
Yeah. There's, I don't know, some random games I've been playing I can't really think of. But yeah, like not as much RS as usual. But yeah, anyways, what'd you do this week?
Kind of similar. It's been pretty slow. What have I been doing video game related? Kind of same as last week. I am basically just woodcutting on my main account. Woodcutting and cooking, depending on what I'm doing, depending on what else I'm doing. I'm sitting at 96 cooking now. and 92 wood cutting. I'm doing magic tree, so it's a really slow experience. Like, it's very slow experience. But it's kind of nice to just see. I usually don't put my bank pin in. I'll just use the deposit box, and then every couple days I'll open it to do something. Maybe I need to go buy my battle staffs or get my NMZ herb boxes, and then I notice, oh wow, I'm sitting at like 2,000 magic logs. That's all right. It's it's not great money, but it's there, so that's whatever. But on the side, I've just been playing RimWorld for the most part. That game has definitely got me hooked. It's a fun one.
Dude, we need to get sponsored.
By RimWorld?
Yeah.
That's a tough one, but we should try.
Dude.
The RuneScape podcast that is brought to you by another game.
Early access dev teams, you know?
If I'm not mistaken, I think they released their 1.0.
Yep.
We'll see how that one goes. So yeah, again, pretty slow week for me. I haven't really done much at all. Like I've been on it a bunch, but I'm just wood cutting. I'm just cooking. Things that are just very slow grinds. But it's been kind of nice. I've been able to kick back and kind of just take things slow. You kind of need to do that once in a while. And if you ever want to get that 99 wood cutting, it's kind of a great time to do it. I mean, it's going to take forever, but it's slowly chip away at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's it. That'd be interesting to talk about. So maybe we'll just dive right into it.
All right, so for this week's game integrity update, because that is the season, 'tis the season.
Yeah, we have our quality of life that happens right in the new year, usually. And I guess we got game integrity at the beginning of summer.
Yep. So, first things first, the Grotesque Guardians. I have complained about them. Dilz thinks they're fine, but I guess easy escape. So, both Dusk and Dawn have had their health reduced from 600 to 450. Which is very significant. And additionally, you can now purchase the unlock Double Trouble. Slaying Dusk and Dawn now counts for 2 kills towards your task rather than 1.
It does cost 500 Slayer points, which I think we talked about when they first proposed this. I don't see why. That just should be how it is. I don't understand having to pay to unlock it, but whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. So... yeah, next thing is the seaweed spores. So let me rephrase this. This part is the pulled content changes. This isn't game integrity.
Right, because game integrity, no polling is being done for that. They're just going to be doing what they think is needed for the game.
Yeah.
Usually people complain about that sort of stuff because when this game first came out, the idea was every change in additional content needs to be pulled in order for it to be brought into the game. But with game integrity, Jagex doesn't want to have to gamble on whether it's going to pass or not, because let's be real, a lot of these might not pass because they're straight nerfs to certain things.
Yeah. If the community had a say, we'd still have 6-hour splashing and Guthans and NMZ.
Yeah, if you remember, we talked about it before, but they had a pull for it, and all of them failed, where it was the splashing and the 6-hour timer and a few other things. Those all failed because, let's be real, we want our experience to be, for the average person, the faster we can get experience, the better. The more we can enjoy the end game content, the more we can do other things besides training, right?
Yep.
But if that's good for the game or not, well, Jagex is deeming that most of it isn't good for the game. But Jagex is deeming that it's so detrimental to the integrity of the game that they need to go ahead and make these changes, whether we like it or not.
Yep. Anyway, so right now we're in the content changes that were pulled. So
right,
we had the Grotesque Guardian. The next one is the seaweed spores. So the amount of seaweed spores dropped by creatures in Fossil Island have received a notable buff. So Ancient Wyverns will now drop up to a maximum of 24, and it was 12 previously. The Fossil Wyverns drop 12, it was previously 6. Lobstrosities drop 5, or up to 5, previously 1. The Ammonite crabs, I think that's how you say it, drop a maximum of 2, it was previously 1. The seaweed spores now have a chance to randomly appear when you are diving in shallow water off Fossil Island. Seaweed spores, you use those to grow the large seaweed thingies.
Yeah, which I believe you can use it to make...
It helps you get soda ash much quicker.
Soda ash, that's what I
you're
was
not just
thinking.
like buying from the charter. fishing trawler area.
And I think that's the idea. It's for Iron Men because most of the time that's how you're going to do it. You're going to go and be purchasing soda ash from a store and hopping worlds.
Yep.
Now you can kind of go farm it.
Yeah.
Makes a bit more sense.
If you're doing your birdhouses, now you can do your spores as well.
Yeah, so this seems more directly for Iron Men. The average player, you're going to go to the GE and pay for them.
Yeah, exactly. Players harvesting cactus spines will now find that the harvesting works in a similar way to herbs, where the farming level reduces the chance of using up one of the lives of the patch. That is the worst way to phrase it. Yeah,
it's weird. They don't really explain how farming herbs does work.
Yeah.
Unless you look on Twitter, maybe it's probably been updated on the wiki, but if you just solely play this game online, maybe you're on your mobile and you don't want to close it to have to look on some third-party website.
Yep.
You kind of, when you're picking herbs and now cactus spines, you have like a certain amount of lives, and there's a percentage that you can lose one of those lives, and once you've lost them all, your herb patch is depleted, which is why sometimes you get 6 herbs, sometimes you get 12. It's all the RNG of the game.
Yeah, so for what they say here is at level 55, there's a 75% chance of using up one of those lives with each pick, versus a 30% chance at 99, but you will always receive a minimum of 3 spines. There is now a dialogue option to help inform owners of the age of their cats. Or kittens, sorry.
You do not need to cut them open to see how old they are.
You don't have to check their rings. Traveling via spear trees, so the option to travel now replaces the talk option on the trees. This change will appear only for players who have completed the Tree Gnome Village quest. Note that access to the spear trees within the Gnome Stronghold requires access of the Grand Tree, as it always has.
Okie dokie.
You can now right-click and claim multiple pet rocks from Askeladden. I don't even know how you say that guy's name, but the little kid that gives you the pet rocks near the hut.
I want to say that name has to be some sort of pun. I can't figure it out. Maybe need to have a British accent for it to.
Yeah,
you got to hear it on a Q&A to be like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, exactly. The werewolf agility buff, so the course in Canifis now rewards players with twice the amount of experience when handing in the stick. This sees the increase in agility experience rise from 190 to 380. Picking Zygamites. So both Zygamites and Ancient Zygamites have had their pick delay reduced.
Good
the
stuff.
Drawman Staff now has a unique model to differentiate it from the regular Battle Staff.
From what I've seen, it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't need them anymore.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Elite life, dude. The Catacombs of Korend, there's now a left click to investigate. Easier to go down.
Okay.
Most importantly, so now we're out of the content, this is the game integrity. Pickpocketing NPCs, yay! Thank God I got 99 thieving, so I don't care for this. In fact, maybe I prefer it now. It gives value to my 99. So
makes my grind a little bit harder.
Yeah. So pretty much what they did is pickpocketing NPCs will now yield coin pouches instead of coins. So they stack up to 28 times, and then once you hit 28 stacks, you'll find the NPC which yielded the pouches could no longer be pickpocketed until they're opened. There's a left-click open all option, which allows for all of pouches of a particular type to be opened at once. So the NPCs which will always yield a coin pouch instead of coins are citizens, farmers, warriors, and women warriors, guards, Fremeniks, Knights of Arty, and paladins. NPCs which have a chance to yield a coin pouch are hand members, rogues, cave goblins, bandits in the Caridian Desert, watchmen, gnomes, heroes, and elves. NPCs that currently yield a number of coins will still award that amount of coin when opening up the pouch. How it affects blackjacking. The Menophyte thugs, the bearded Polynevian bandits will all yield coin pouches when pickpocketed without having been knocked out. When they're knocked out, they'll yield coins just as they did prior to the update. And when you're pickpocketing while wearing the rogue's outfit, you'll receive a coin pouch, and separately you'll receive coins rather than just doubling the amount of pouches or amount of coins in the pouch. you'll get coins and then the pouch.
Right. And if you don't know what blackjacking is, you need to do you know what quest it is?
No.
You need to do one of the desert quests. Actually, let me look this up. May as well. You'll need to complete the feud quest, and I believe there's a mini quest afterwards that you need to complete. It is one of the fastest ways of getting pickpocketing experience at a certain level threshold. And what you need to do is you need to obtain a blackjacking weapon, which just looks like a club. You find these certain NPCs that Deagin just mentioned. You can knock them out, and then you can pickpocket them. When they're knocked out, they can't stun you when you're pickpocketing them. So you can get a couple of them in before they get back up. What you want to do is lure them to a house where there's no other NPCs, because if they catch you, they will attack you.
Yep.
It kind of sucks to do, and it's pretty click intensive, which is why they didn't see the need to do the game integrity changes for them, because there's no auto clickers who are doing it. If there's some sort of macro to do it, it's a bot.
Yeah. Easily catchable.
Yeah, well, yeah, debatable, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. You do have to pickpocket sometimes. If you fail a knockout or something, you'll want to pickpocket so you don't get forced into combat. So I have heard people complain that this is pretty impactful to blackjacking, this integrity update, but I can't verify that because I don't need to thieve ever again.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, thankfully, I guess I was off by a week. I thought this change would come in before the Dragonfire update, which was last week, I believe. So I kind of rushed 99 thieving.
I think many people thought this would be coming out way earlier.
Yeah, months ago.
But hey, whatever.
Anyways, moving on. So there's some mobile content changes. The login flow of existing players have been streamlined to be sure to update the game as mentioned as above. I don't know why I mentioned that last part, but I'm trying to paraphrase. But anyways, yeah, they just made it more streamlined. When searching for items in the bank, chat box will always display a count of how many items have been found meeting the search criteria.
Okay.
They do this because with the keyboard open, you can't really see everything, so it just kind of lets you know. It helps you determine if you're in the right search area, if you're looking in the right places, I guess. I don't really know. After tapping the battery indicator to display your current charge percentage, you can now tap it again to dismiss it. Quick prayers can now be activated whilst the world map is minimized. Some issues with overlapping interface on Tutorial Island have been addressed. The logout menu now contains a link to our support center, and you'll now be able to tap anywhere within the chat box to continue dialogue with NPCs. The tap to continue message provided was quite annoying to navigate.
Interesting. So I did notice that it displaying your battery percentage in the top corner. It's kind of cool.
That's what I use. I always make sure I have that open when I'm on mobile.
I think next we're going to be seeing a clock or something that'll display the time on your phone.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice.
So you can realize how long have I been playing old school RuneScape and not doing my work during the day. 10 minutes, might be able to get away with that. 20 minutes, you might get a talking to.
Yeah.
Talking to about our XP gains, if you know what I'm saying.
Nice.
I guess it wasn't that good.
Other news, there's a couple things. So the changes to mobile, specifically the search function, how it tells you what you have found during your search, the number of items that are related, are now they're on PC client as well. So that's pretty nice.
Sounds good.
You can no longer harvest produce while running away from patches.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that was a thing.
The bounty target teleport spell will now specify whether your target is in a single or multi-way combat. This is in addition to inform you what level wilderness they're in. Do remember that the spell puts you close to the target, but is not guaranteed you'll be in the same type of combat zone.
Mm-hmm.
They could be in singles. You could drop into multi and vice versa.
Yep, that's a spell you unlock from the bounty trader from trading in your emblems.
Yeah,
it's fairly expensive, but if you're a PKer, it's pretty good.
Yeah. They removed one of the Dead Man seasonal worlds, and they did a PvP world rotation.
All right.
Yeah. That is about it. Yeah.
That's it for the updates. Okay, speed running it, not bad.
Wait, sorry, one thing. Sorry, one thing. The player merch panel application, so you can answer some questions. There's like a little link you can click and, answer some questions, blah, 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 blah. Pretty much, if you're into buying merch or selling merch.
Yeah, true.
It's like a thing to, so they can just sell you more shit. It'll like describe yourself, blah, 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 blah. Have you ever purchased merchandise? If so, was it from the official thing? What categories from like music, soundtracks, board games, and tabletop games, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Ooh, we're gonna get some RuneScape Monopoly?
I think so.
We're gonna get some Settlers of Gielinor?
Maybe.
Are we gonna get a ticket to ride Gielinor?
Ticket to Gielinor?
Ticket to Gielinor?
Ticket to Fossil Island?
Set up your canoe lines?
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of cool little things, electronic accessories, collectibles, clothing. It's like a lot of random questions. What's your gender? Blah, 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 blah. Your name. What's your postcode? What's your mother's maiden name? What's your first pet's first name? Or your first pet's name?
What was the first credit card you used on your
account for membership?
Yep.
Yeah. All that good stuff. But yeah, you can find that on the blog post. If you want to give them some data to maybe help them sell you some merch.
Would RuneScape merchandise be considered macro transactions?
I don't think so, unless you're buying in bulk.
True. Yeah, maybe Costco's going to start selling this shit.
Yeah. Buy every 99 skill cape from Costco.
If there's any RuneScape merch that you'd be interested in, that you would probably spend money on, what do you think it would be?
Me personally?
Yeah.
You probably mentioned it in the past, but like how you could buy like a miniature of your WoW character?
Oh yeah.
Probably something like that. Like my character, and then send like an image of like my fashion scape, and then they 3D print or something, like a little model of it, maybe like a 6 or 7 inch high model.
Yeah, I forget what company did that, but they were fucking sick. They would take what your character was currently wearing, they would print off the design, and then it would be on like this stand where it would have engraved being like level 70 rogue Dilz. Might say your server and shit, but it's pretty cool. And then obviously if you wanted to progress some, you know what I mean? It'd be cool to kind of do that with RuneScape.
Yeah.
Because it would take what you're wearing. Maybe you do it when you hit certain thresholds.
Yeah, you could like, they would take your count, your total level, and then, maybe if you're like equipped in like a quest cape, you could have your guy doing the emote or like a spec, some sort of like declaw AGS spec. Whatever the weather. Customize it a little bit. That'd be really neat. Even if it's like some shitty 3D print, as long as you don't break it in transport.
Yeah, as long as it's fair quality.
Have your dude like farming out of a patch with his cape on. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can do like a lot of cool little things with like just a 3D model in terms of that. Other than that, like, I don't know, maybe like a skill cape.
Real life skill cape.
Yeah. So I walk around campus and I go, watch out, I got 99 range, buddy.
Yeah.
Stay away from me.
You're at the gym with your 99 strength cape on?
Yeah.
Christ, that'd be intimidating as shit.
Just being pinned to the ground with like your when you're bench pressing, you're just like pinned and you need someone to help roll it off your chest.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm debuffed. I just went through the aberrant specters without a nose peg on.
Exactly.
That's not bad. You could be smoking some of those marijuana cigarettes with a herb cape on. Herblore cape.
Dude, that'd be pretty lit, fam.
That'd be fucking dank.
Yeah.
I think the board games is what would sucker me in.
Like a Warhammer type RuneScape theme, that'd be pretty cool.
That, or even like, it's board game night and someone's like, let's play Game of Life. And you're like, no, let's play Game of RuneScape. And then everyone just goes, ugh, you're the only one who plays this game. And I'm like, not tonight, we're all playing a game of RuneScape.
What's your max cash stack? You don't know a number? That's mine. That's mine.
Sick.
You wanna I'll trade you 2 coast shrimp for your 2 sharks, and you just scam your friends.
I barely understand what you're even saying.
It doesn't help that I'm like sick and stuffy. Anyways, Yeah, is there any type of merch you want to buy besides like board games?
Hmm.
I maybe mod Jed with like a big X over his face as a t-shirt.
Poor guy. I don't know. I was going to say maybe some weaponry that you could have like on a plaque, but we have our own blacksmith doing that right now.
Yeah,
exactly. Just got to be on at the right time to win that.
Yeah.
I want to say like some cool artwork, but I don't know if I'd actually buy that. I might just download it and put it as my background on my computer.
Yeah.
I think board games would win me over, but besides that, I'm not too sure. But hey, we'll put the question out there. If there is some merchandise that you think you could get suckered into buying, let us know.
So actually, we're already done the news.
Yeah, we're really speed running this one.
Yeah, I kind of maybe should have like figured out some shit to do on RS this week. Maybe I should have actually PK'd a bunch so we had more to talk about. But there is some stuff we need to dive into.
Yeah, we do have some interesting stuff.
Do you want to start with the bug, or do you want to start with Dead Man mode?
How big of news is the Dead Man mode? Because I didn't hear about this one.
Mainly, it's more of like chatter within a bunch of YouTubers and people that are involved in the Dead Man community. And I think this season has had the lowest turnout / died the fastest out of any seasonal.
Okay, well, we've already started. Let's just go with it. We'll save the big one for last.
A lot of the complaints are... Okay, I don't really know how to phrase this without sounding like a dick, but... So there are some things that people have figured out, which is like... You kill someone, and they find ways to fill their bank up with junk. And that junk just overrides everything. Like, you'll see people, like, getting killed, and then they get, like, 1,000 wool, some, like, oak short bow unstrung, and there's, like, items that have been manipulated within the Grand Exchange, and people are just doing that and filling up their bank, which means, you know, there's no reason to PK, and that kind of segues into this people have, like, kind of realized the skill caps, or the experience cap on your combat skills is so extreme that it takes like 4 or 5 days to reliably PK.
All right.
So this is okay. This branches more into like, are you going to cater towards the casual player base or like the like competitive, neat, you know, no life player base? So
it's a tough one. That's a tough debate.
The last time I played Dead Man mode seriously was season 2, I believe, and there was no skill cap. There was nothing. I grinded super hard for the first couple days. And I ended up dying like 3-4 days into it for my first time. Or maybe like day 2 or 3 I died. And that was mainly because the route I took wasn't good. What I planned out, I did like a range-based build. And it just didn't work out. Some dude had fucking like 94 magic and barrage. And like the guy was just way better than me. It sucks to be like, huh, okay. Mage, like during the early phases, people just like rushed Desert Treasure, got Ice Barrage ASAP. It was very different, right? Sure. Day 2, you could be PKing people that had no chance to live. So they implemented, 20 minutes of protection when you first log in. After the first week, you get 6 hours of protection. Experience caps. You don't lose experience on death if you're not scald. Do you protect more items in your bank? I don't know. They changed like a bunch to help the casual player base get into Dead Man mode. And they've also done things where like you can get tier 5 emblems from monsters. You get like, you know, more resources from just Slayer and shit, just killing monsters. Like, there's just a rare resource table that you can get, like, brews and stuff. So, with all these changes being stacked on slowly each seasonal, it turns into, like, a really fucking shitty economy where strategies of basing, like, I'm gonna make a bunch of money doing crafting or herb lore you're narrowed down to, I'm gonna make a bunch of money crafting. You know, like cooking isn't as viable because you're getting, you know, manta rays and shit from Slayer, so you don't need as much food. Same thing with like Sarah brews and stuff, makes herb lore not as viable as a way to make money. Blah, 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 blah. With the experience caps, it makes it really hard to kill someone unless they're really bad at Dead Man mode or they're really behind in general.
Or you're with a team and they're like if you outnumber them.
Like, yeah, and let's just, like, talk about in terms of, like, solo players, because, like, clans will always beat people that aren't in clans.
That's true. And I guess the clans aren't really feeling the impact of this as much because you're with a team. You're not going to get killed, or you're not going to kill someone and be like, fuck this, I'm quitting. It's the solo players that are probably going to be the first ones to leave.
Yeah, so this season specifically, we talk about how like metas slowly develop. What everyone has been doing is they do like a range tank build, or they just get really high range and defense, and if they get attacked, like you can just tank it easily at a bank. Because with the experience cap, you have like no real way of KOing people. You don't have Ice Barrage, you don't have a strong spec. It's very hard to kill people unless you're someone who isn't aware of like, I'm gonna go range tank and like just rag. So it turns into like each season it's getting like more and more apparent, and this is kind of like a big catalyst where casual players jump on. They either come on late or they just have an inefficient route, and they're just behind people that have already hit their experience cap, and then they get killed, and then they quit, and then the people that actually stick around and like are experienced in deadman mode, they're unable to kill each other, so it becomes really fucking boring, and it takes like a week to actually be able to kill someone. But by then, people are just bored and they just quit. And there's such a little amount of people playing that getting in the top 2,000 is extremely easy.
Yeah,
okay. You don't like, you can play like for 3-4 days and then just not play, and now you're in the tournament. And it's obvious people have like 3-4 accounts in a tournament, which ideally should be really hard. Ideally, it should be like you can't do it because you have to spend so much. Like, you know what I mean? Like the top 2,000. It's not like the top 800 have 2 accounts in a Deadman finals.
Yeah, people normally bring up like a backup account. Yeah.
Yep. That with people finding out how to manipulate the Grand Exchange to fill your bank with junk. If you do kill someone that's experienced Deadman mode, well, they know how to do this like exploit. And it's like legal muling. Like muling that cannot be punished. So you're not incentivized to fight people. And you're not incentivized to like... You're more incentivized to kill casual players, which means you're de-incentivized. You don't want to actually jump in now because people are like, oh, there's a noob. I can actually kill someone finally. So pretty much, like, Deadman mode has become a thing where the people that really care about it can't really play it because it's, like, impossible to, like, enjoy because of all the restrictions. There's little things, you know, how people are kind of sick of questing, you know, just to not really be able to do much.
Which is fair. Questing is kind of... That's one big thing that keeps me away from it. I don't want to go back and do a bunch of the quests.
I do think questing is pretty important for strategies, though, in terms of, like, Priest in Peril, like, how that's a crucial quest if you want your Avas. Yep. And people can set up strategies to kill people that are, you know, doing Priest in Peril with the 25 Rune Essence type thing.
True, yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of becoming apparent that, like, they need to make some changes to benefit people that play Deadman mode seriously, or like...
It's a hard one, because as you mentioned with the changes, not the changes, but the new meta of how you can kind of bank a bunch of junk and have that override other items, so that when you kill someone, it takes their best stacks, but they're shit items that you're not going to be able to sell. The people who can take advantage of that are the more serious players. A casuals might not even know that exists. They want to be able to they want to bring more people into Deadman mode. They want more casuals to play because they're the most fun people to PK, I would assume. But they're also those people the fastest to quit. So, like, but then at the same time, the serious players are the ones who are going to be really competing for that money. They're the ones that are going to make the final hour exciting to watch. Not so much the casuals. It seems tough to balance it because the experience caps, which is great for for the casual players, but they're not going to be hitting those limits. Like the limits are only there. The only problem the limits have are to the serious players because they're the ones who are hitting those limits.
Typically, a casual player will play until they die and then they quit. It doesn't matter if you can only get 1 experience a day. If you can't die for a month, the second anything goes wrong, they're going to quit, which is fine. It's understandable. Like, it's kind of a bitch. It's Deadman mode. It's not meant to be for everyone. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that there'll always be casual people that will try out Deadman mode, especially after the big tournament, the final hour. People will always want to try it out. People who are serious about Deadman mode that aren't just content creators, like the people that don't get donations and shit, like the people that just play, are slowly quitting because, like, they don't get donations because they're not a big YouTuber or Twitch streamer. They don't have some serious clans that are funneling them money. Like, it's kind of like those people that get hit the most Just those guys like, I really like Deadman mode. Oh, I'll play it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of boring, day 3. And then once they start quitting, like, that's when it really starts to die.
That's when you're stuck with the serious players, but they've also have all these hurdles to jump over now because of all these barriers that they put in to help the casual players. I don't think there's an easy answer on this one.
Some things I agree with, which like lock out ancient magics for a couple days. I think that's kind of cool. There are some things that are reasonable, but there are like the only things I can think of is do like light questing, like LITE. It's the only like actual solution I've thought of where not every quest you don't have to do every single quest. So like pro tip, if you're doing a recipe for disaster and you want the barrel gloves in Deadman mode, you just have to start the first part. Like, unlock bronze gloves or whatever. Like, you do, like, Cook's Assistant. Like, you can get barrel gloves super fast, and you don't need any real requirements in Deadman mode.
Yeah.
It's super easy to unlock barrel gloves, and it would be kind of cool to... It's a lot of work, though, but it would be really cool if they had... Maybe Jagex asks, like, the community or, like, some content creators that are really into it to, like, suggest which quests could they streamline, or things where, like, you always have to do Priest in Peril, but doing Priest in Peril, like, automatically completes these couple quests or something.
That's interesting.
And it would make questing, like, the important ones, you know, getting your climbing boots, like, keep those quests in where, like, people literally build strats around doing them. Like, keep that in, make it so you can set up traps and kill people doing that stuff, but also so you don't have to, like, grind some extremely monotonous, obscure thing to do this, or, like, running all over the place. Maybe just have Rune Mysteries done right off the bat. Even though it's a quick quest, it's still kind of a fucking pain in the ass that, like, brings nothing to the game. There's no benefit to doing, unless you're, like, you know, only if you're mining your own pure essence for Priest in Peril.
Mm-hmm.
Or Rune Essence, I guess. But there's a lot of little things they could do, which would streamline. I think streamlining questing would be very beneficial, while still having some caps on things like ancient magics. I think that would be a good idea. I do think they should change the combat experience caps a little bit, allowing players to, like, because regardless, no matter what, if you put in more time than someone and you guys are equally skilled, whoever puts in more time generally will come out on top if it turns into a fight. That's just how RuneScape is, and you can't really change that. So what? You work a 9 to 5, you have a couple hours a day. That sucks, but you can build specific strategies around that. Good example is, like, Guild Wars 2, their daily... Good example as in, like, this is bad. They have, like, a dailies system, which you have a bunch of daily quests that you can jump on and do in 10 minutes, and then you jump off, and you're done. And you're like, cool. And so you're, like, incentivized, if you're, like, into, like, say, Guild Wars 2, to only play 10 minutes a day. And, that game specifically... The longer you're grinding shit out, the like your RNG, like drop rates for things go down. They become worse and worse. So if you're grinding stuff, like you're the most time effective thing is to play the game for like an hour a day and quit. And that's kind of what Jagex is done with Deadman mode, where obviously, you know, you're grinding out Slayer or like more quests, you're gonna benefit. But if you're just going for straight up stats and you're just like being really passive until like the first week, we unlock all the quests. Like, yeah, I don't know. I do think they should cut back on some of these restrictions and open up the game for like more creativity. Even like just implement nerfs. I don't know if they can do this, but implement nerfs to certain spells or something where like maybe ancient magics can hit maxes at 25 now instead of 30. Like, I don't know if they can actually do that, because next thing you know, that becomes the max on every single world because they fucked up. I don't know if it's actually possible if they can do that. It would be really nice though if they could, I don't know, look into retaining a like more, no, when I say a hardcore, I just mean people that actively play Deadman mode while it's still alive and they still enjoy it. They die, that's okay. They have a strat to make money again.
Yeah, someone who comes home after work and doesn't go on the regular RuneScape. They go on the Deadman mode instead. They spend a couple hours there.
Yeah. Those people are getting punished the hardest, which is like kind of really silly.
Yeah.
Sure, I could jump on right now and spend like 8 hours and catch up, get my experience caps done, get all this, get like up to par with the people that have been playing nonstop or like playing specifically Deadman mode, but like, I'm not bringing anything to the game mode. It's the guys that actually enjoy it and play it all the time that bring the game mode to life.
Yeah, for sure.
I just thought it would be kind of worth talking about that.
We'll have to see how this season plays out because it has been out for a while now. Each season they do changes, and I'm sure they continue to do it, but we're going to have to see how this season plays out. We're going to have to see how the finale goes.
Yeah. My worry is that every change has been restrictions. They're not changes. They're just restrictions on certain things.
Yeah.
Very rarely is it like, hey, if you got 13 unique kills, you now can unlock a rune pouch. I mean, that's stupid. That's a bad idea. But like that's not a restriction. That's benefiting someone who plays a lot. A lot of it is more of like, restricting someone who plays a lot. Anyways, I don't know what your thoughts are on any of that.
I just think it's a hard one to balance out because as I said, you don't want to punish the people who are the committed players, the hardcore player base of Deadman mode, because they're the ones who are going to be competing for that 20,000, which is what makes the finale exciting to watch. But as we see with the wilderness, just PKing in general, you don't want to discourage the casual player from going into the game. You need to have some casuals as well. It's hard to like find a sweet balance where the casual players has a bit of a chance, whereas the more serious players can still properly compete, I guess.
Yeah.
The best part of these, not the best part, but the thing that's fun to look at is what the opinions that people have of this game mode as each season goes by. As we saw last season, people getting like, I don't know, they were feeling the pains of having to grind for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
More than 12 hours, so which is not possible for many people. Yeah,
but that's more like, not everyone can do that, but that's what makes it fun though, when you watch everyone who has been doing that, you know what I mean? Like, if you're playing Deadman mode, the seasonal, to win $20,000 in the invitational, and you're like a casual person, and you're not putting in 20 hours a day, you're only going to be upset. Like, you got to just play it for fun. Let the guys who, grind their lives for this, let them do that. But just go on, have some fun, dick around with your buddies. Like, I have a group of friends that once a year they get together, and they just they land Deadman. They don't even play RuneScape. They're not even they just think Deadman mode's kind of cool. And then once they all meet up, they'll spend like 3 days out of like their week or two that they're together, and they just land Deadman mode.
It's what most people are doing. The 20,000 people like to compete. That $20,000 gives them an incentive to work for. Is it kind of? Is it possible? Obviously, it's not possible for most people. There's like 10 players who win actual rewards from it. But just having that there, it's incentive to like get on and compete. Otherwise, we'd see the regular Deadman mode, the non-seasonals, being more populated than they are.
Yep.
Anyways, that's an interesting look to see how the Deadman mode is going. But should we get into what everyone's just talking about all week?
Oh yeah, I think it's time.
All right, so a big bug happened. This is a pretty big one. We see that happen from time to time, but this was a unique one.
I think this is like the biggest fuck up out of any MMO. I can't think of anything that's worse than this.
Well, I mean, the Valley Massacre was always a big one.
It's not that impactful.
Well,
a couple people died. Okay, yeah, they died and they lost what they were wearing, but this literally like had potential to completely ruin the economy of 2 games permanently if they didn't get it fixed fast enough.
Yeah, but in the end, there was close to no impact at all, right?
Yeah, because they dealt with it in like a pretty decent way. I think they fixed it. Anyways, I guess we'll just talk about it. So,
what
with
happened?
with the update of the thieving integrity update, where the coin pouches and stuff came in, which happened this past update, there was a bug where if you died with, I believe it was untradables, right? So what happened was what happened, like, so when they updated the death code that handled, like, these new thieving pouches, they fucked up. When you died with, say, like, these coin pouches, or, like, I just think untradables in general.
I don't know about untradables, but also
maybe
stackables.
Stackables. Yeah, like runes and stuff.
Yep.
It would turn into a max cash stack.
So there was a small period of time where every PKer was getting 2.1 billion gold when they killed someone.
Yeah. So a shit ton of max cash got put into the game, max stacks, which led to a T-bow going up like 200 mil in like the small time frame. It was like an hour it went on for, maybe less. It didn't go on for that long.
No.
But a lot of people started swapping it over to RS3. A lot of people bought bonds. A lot of people just bought random gear. People were saying they'd load up and someone would just trade them 50 mil. And they'd be like, what the fuck's going on? Like, people were just like, dude, like, it was mayhem for like this time that the servers were up. Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
It was pretty crazy. Some people were buying bonds, which, not the greatest thing to do. It didn't go on for so long, but this is the first time where Jagex had to step in and shut down all the servers.
Yeah, they shut down Oldschool and RS3 for 6 hours it was?
If I'm not mistaken about RuneScape 3, I believe you just couldn't log in. The people who are still on RuneScape 3, I think were still able to play.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but that's what I had read. So, yeah, they definitely... Yeah, it was probably one of the first times you're going to look at Oldschool RuneScape, the player count, and it's at 0. So, yeah, they had to shut it down for a handful of hours. It wasn't just like 20 minutes to fix it. It was a good portion of the day.
Yeah, it was like 6 hours or something, I believe.
Yeah, well, they had to go through and fix it. And, yeah, as you mentioned, while they were putting in the game integrity, it's funny how it's a game integrity change that causes this. It's a little ironic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so when they put that in there, something had gone awry where this was happening. They had to pull it down until they fixed it. And they also rolled back all the servers to the time of when that update first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Or like 15 minutes beforehand or something. So it was only like a 15 minutes worth of time that was lost from the rollback. But I had seen it impact some players, so it wasn't that big of a deal. You might have lost some experience. You might have lost a level or so if you were close. Not a big deal. Grind for another 15 minutes, you're back to where you were.
Yeah. You get a pet, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
I guess. That's a shitty one to...
I mean, if I'd gotten a pet and they had to roll back the servers because a bunch of people are getting max I'd be like, okay, that sucks, but they have to do this. I'm not going to like complain that I lost like something. Like, if you can't just let a bunch of people just get free max cash stacks.
Yeah, exactly. And the shitty one that I had seen was there was a player who just opened up a medium casket and got his ranger boots, but they had to get rolled back. So,
yeah,
most likely didn't get those ranger boots.
Yeah, funny enough, I actually was doing a farm run before the servers went down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go take a shower, take a shit, go make some food. And I jump on, the servers are down. I'm like, what the fuck? Rune Light, come on, update faster, buddy. And I go on the subreddit, and everyone's like, look at this. And I'm like, no, I missed out on the fun.
And you're just sitting at your computer being like, oh god, what did I do? Left for 5 minutes and I fucked up something.
Yeah, so the main issues or the main big things with this update is that during this time, people were selling gold to gold sites, or trying to at least. Maybe the first people who thought of it, maybe they got away with it, but obviously not everyone was able to because the sites probably knew what was going on.
Probably had a feeling.
A lot of people were swapping over to RS3.
That was one of the bigger ones because I don't think RuneScape 3 got a rollback. Therefore, people might have actually lost money on RuneScape 3.
Yeah. And people were buying bonds on Oldschool and on RS3.
Yeah, and then they were redeeming that for membership.
Yep. That's kind of why it took 6 hours. It wasn't just like a quick rollback. Like they probably had some people sit down and go through every single person that was on Oldschool during those 15 minutes and seeing what happened and how they interacted. Keep in mind, there could be things where somebody's membership updated. Like they got a credit card payment or a charge. And then the servers got rolled back, and that could fuck with their membership status where they would lose it. But they still paid. Same thing with redeeming a bond. You know, what if some innocent person redeemed a bond on their Iron Man or something, right? There's a lot of weird little issues that could have happened. And so they probably had to like really go through the whole player base.
They did mention that rolling back, just getting the money and buying some T-Bows, not a big deal. But the people who did redeem bonds did get issued a punishment, whether it was it was probably a temporary ban.
Yeah, lots of people were complaining. Well, not complaining, but I was actually on Twitter when this was going down, and somebody said, "Oh, fuck! I wish I saved the tweet." Somebody was bragging that they went and bought a fuck ton of bonds and they didn't get banned, and then like an hour later, they're like, "I got banned."
Yeah,
and it's not permanent, but I think it's for a while. I think they got banned for like the 2 months or maybe, I don't know.
Wow,
a couple months that like they use the bonds for, you know.
That's pretty crazy, because the thing is, this was a bug on Jagex's end, but most people are kind of aware that this was a bug. Especially when you're out there PKing, you're on the PvP world, and you get a kill, and it's 2.1 bill, and your first thought is, holy shit, this guy has max cash stack on him, and then you see a guy next to you, holy fuck, I got 21 bill, or 2.1 bill. Someone else goes, man, I got 2.1 bill, and you start seeing other people, and it's just, the fuck's going on? If you're going to go and spend that money on bonds, you either really needed that bond and you were just waiting to get enough money for it, or you had a feeling this was going to be a bug of some sorts, it was going to get rolled back, and you wanted to find a way you could skirt around it.
I mean, honestly, I would have done it.
It's hard to say, right? Like, a lot of people were saying on the subreddit that if you knew it was a bug, why would you even pick up the money?
Imagine this. Imagine people didn't get punished for the bonds. I think there's definitely people that didn't get punished, and we'll know in like a year from now when they quit, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is what I did during this time when that big bug happened. I like swapped the money onto this guy, traded it over to RS3, and then did this with the money. I didn't get caught." There's gonna be someone who comes out and says it, probably, if they're quitting RS permanently.
Yeah, they want some of that karma.
Yeah. Trading that RSGP for karma, some real world trading.
Sick.
But yeah, I don't know. I think if you were like, "Oh, this is a bug, I'm gonna drop the money somewhere where no one will find it, and I'm gonna log out, and I'm not gonna no, just go fucking what? How can you reasonably do that? Like, come on, man."
It's hard if you put yourself in that
Gotta
situation.
live a little.
Most people are gonna do it. That being said, I did see how, I don't know if this was a joke or not, but I was reading that somebody had bought a bunch of bonds and then was giving it away to free-to-play players. Very nice gesture, but hopefully none of those free-to-play players got banned.
Yeah.
Another thing I had noticed, another event, was a hardcore Iron Man died at the Barrows. At the Barrows minigame, I guess. Barrows area. So he lost his hardcore status, but all of his runes converted to a max cash stack. But then luckily with the rollback, he retained his hardcore status. That's lucky.
It is pretty nuts, though, to think that they don't have a sandbox mode to test with these updates.
Yeah, it is surprising. Yeah, most games have a PBE, private beta, PTR.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll implement something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they kind of. I don't know. I think it was one of the newer devs that they hired that fucked this up. I don't really know.
What a rough first week.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, they say how fucked up the code is for the game, so maybe it's understandable how a little, maybe forget one dash and it fucks everything up. I don't know how coding works, so obviously, but I think we need to run through some of these theories. I don't know if you have any of them yourself, but we'd be missing out if we didn't.
Yeah, roll it. It was Mod Jed. He's getting his Rod Boys a bunch of free membership.
That's the problem. I'm not saying it was them, but...
Oh, I am.
What if this is all a cover-up? What if one of the J mods, pick your name, Deagin's going with Mod Jed, half the people out there going Mod Jed, what happens when they let this slide? They see it's going on and they go, I could shut down the servers now? we can let it run for 5 minutes. We can let them trade it over to RuneScape 3, where they'll be able to hold on to a stock of money until this all blows over, and they can send it back to old school RuneScape.
So, like, what I'm thinking is, I don't know if they have plat tokens, and so this is okay. If I am trying to get away with this, all right. So let's just say, yeah, I'm trying to get away with this. How would I go about it? I would find a gold swapper, swap it over to RS3. If there's a plat token system, which I'm assuming there is, convert that and then put that on another account on RS3.
Keep going down the line until it's lost in transit.
But if the RS3 servers didn't get officially shut down, which I don't know if they did, you said they were just prevented from being logged in.
That's what I had read. But for the sake of this music that we got going on now, let's just roll with that theory.
You could easily just toss a bunch of the plat tokens onto an RS3 character that isn't related to you, or like you have a pure or something, and just do that and hope you get away with it. Worst case scenario, you get a temp ban. Best case scenario, you have a fuck ton of free GP. Or if you're aware of this is going to be a thing, you set it up so you can swap, or you go to multiple gold selling sites and you just fucking unload as much GP as possible, because they do not care about the real world traders at this point. They do not care. They just want to like try and minimize the money that got put in. So if you're gonna get away with making a couple $1,000, you're probably gonna want to do that if you're aware of it, at least, which, you know, Mod Jed probably was. You know, he orchestrated the whole thing.
We're all his puppets.
Yeah.
He's sitting there just pulling the strings.
I actually got a DM from him saying, "You're pretty alright. Don't log in after this update, though. So you guys are alright. Don't go to the Grand Exchange tomorrow." That's what he said to me.
Bank your items.
Yeah.
Bank your fucking items. Walk in. Pick up a cash stack. Walk out. 2.1 bill. 10 minutes later, like nothing happened.
Yep.
And you're set. Is that what happened? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know.
I doubt it, but...
Do we have any evidence on this? Absolutely not. Of course not. But... always keep your eyes opened.
Keep your ears peeled and your eyes peeled. That's what they say.
Question everything.
Do you remember, what was it, Mystery Hunters?
Oh, it was, not everything's the way it seems. Something like that.
Yeah, remember, things aren't always what they seem. And then, I don't know why this is a quote, but, well, my foot is going to seem like it's kicking your butt. I don't think it's an actual quote.
Mystery Hunters?
Yeah, I don't know, they just added that.
Araya would never say that. Doubting Dave? Maybe.
Christina. I don't know who Christina is.
That was the girl.
Yeah, dude, so the show, I don't know if you guys ever watched Mystery Hunters from like 2002.
I think it's a Canadian show. There's the big bug, I guess, conspiracy. Well, the bug actually happened with rollbacks happening and all that jazz. It was pretty big because not too often do you kill someone and just immediately receive 2.1 bill. Anyways, I think we should, I guess, move on to what else we have to talk about, some community stuff.
I don't know if it happened this week. Dude, my frame of like time, my time reference, like my, I don't know, whatever, my words, my book learnings and thinkings. Yeah. I don't know if this happened this week or last week, but somebody got PK'd for a Scythe of Vitur.
That's right. We had a user on our Discord who sent us a screenshot. He is a member of the Cutthroat clan, and he showed us like a video and stuff of them PKing the Scythe of Vitur, which sold for 4.1 bill.
Yep. The guy claimed it was a bug. He said that like the cleave from hitting the big rev dude hit, but it was proven that he's just an idiot and he attacked someone.
Well, what was happening was he would attack someone that was already skulled on him, and then they would have someone else log in underneath them, something like that. So, as you know, or you might not know, the Scythe, it hits 3 people that are like in a line. It can hit up to 3 people. And if you're attacking one guy who's skulled, you're not going to get skulled from that, but the AoE damage from it, if it hits somebody else that's not skulled, now you're suddenly skulled with it.
See, I thought that's what he was claiming, but the fact is he left-clicked onto somebody else. But maybe that's the actual issue. But if you're bringing the Scythe of Vitur, which is 4.1 build of Rev Caves, that's where he was killed.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck? What do you really have to gain from that? Unless you're just testing it out. But, like, come on. Why are you attacking people? Like, come on. Just...
Yeah, why do you attack back? Or why do you have auto-retaliate on? Or why do you... If you're bringing something like that into the wilderness, you should just know. It's like if you go chinning, you go train your range with chins in the wilderness, like you know the splash damage has the possibility of getting
Wait,
you
who
skulled.
does that? Where would you do that?
I don't know, but the same thing could happen, right?
I don't know. I think...
It does work, yeah. If you're chinning and it splashes and hits somebody that hasn't skulled on you, you will be skulled for that.
Oh, okay, so I guess that's what happened with the Scythe then.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. He had gone on to Twitter, complained about it. One of the JMods, I can't find the tweet right now, responded being like, if you're bringing this item into the wilderness, you need to be aware of what it can do and the dangers that basically you put yourself in. We're not going to go off banning people for getting you skulled. You should just be aware of it. Why? You know what I mean? It's if you have that scythe, you're either loaded in real life and you're just buying bonds or real world trading for it, or you should just have knowledge of like the consequences to bringing something like that into the wilderness.
Yeah.
Or you borrowed it from a friend and now he's gonna be kind of upset.
Yeah, so for a reference, this guy got PK'd for 4.1 bill. I mean, he had other shit on him, but we're just gonna... the site's the only thing we should talk about.
Yeah.
Which is I went on some gold trading sites to see if I were to sell it in bulk, what the prices were. And the average... Well, I guess the best prices I could find was $2,378.
Wow.
That is 272,447 V-Bucks.
Ooh, that's almost every cosmetic in Fortnite.
Every pickaxe cosmetic. You don't get all the dances.
That's crazy. So thank you to Omnicide on Discord for sharing that with us. It's pretty interesting to see and have a little bit of a look into the life of clanning. So I had seen on some other subreddits unrelated to Oldschool RuneScape. This is an Android gaming subreddit, so obviously people who have an Android phone and like to play games in general on it. So with Oldschool RuneScape mobile beta released, not released but now in closed beta, so if you're a membership, if you're a member, you can play it. There's been a post on that subreddit kind of letting people know it's in beta, so if you want to try it or you're a membership or whatever. And I thought it was interesting to see that many people who don't really play Old School RuneScape, some of them did sign up to it to try the game out. There's a handful of mobile MMORPGs out there, but they're not very good. The ones that I've played leave a lot to be desired. There's a lot of freemium mechanics into the game. For example, some games you can press auto combat and your guy will just run around and start slapping things so you can put your phone down for 5 minutes. It'd be basically like... It's like auto-retaliate for Old School RuneScape, but instead of you attack back things that are attacking you, your character will actively attack whatever's close by. Yeah, there seems to be quite a bit of excitement going on for other people who play mobile games but don't play Old School RuneScape, so that was kind of cool to see. And I did see some people look at the $11 for membership, and that kind of turned them off of even trying it.
I'm gonna stand by my theory, I guess, that the mobile is meant to retain the current player base and keep them playing more than bring in new players, because it isn't mobile friendly. Like, if you're putting in, if I want to get, 91 rune crafting from where I am, 83 or something, I don't know. It's 115 hours I have to put in. I can't imagine having my phone now. My phone, specifically when I play mobile, I do a farming run and my phone is fucking hot as hell. I have to hold it by the corners because it's just burning my hand. I mean, that's just my phone, but some other people might have the same issues. And imagine I can't imagine 115 hours of rune crafting and keeping my phone that hot.
The thing is, though, a lot of these people who play a lot of Android games, they kind of encounter the similar problems. You know, you're playing games like Final Fantasy or PUBG Mobile. You know what I mean? It's not just a specific old school RuneScape problem. You're going to get that with a bunch of games, but I think there are going to be a bunch of players that do come into the game, but most of the player base is still going to be of the same people who are playing now. It's not going to jump up as much as I might have originally thought, but there's definitely going to be people who check it out, and they might get bored of it after a month. They might get burnt out and be like, this grind is going to get unreal. I don't have time for this. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be some people, I think, who get hooked, who start playing on the PC maybe. Maybe they have a tablet at home, and it's a little bit more friendly on that. Before we move on to our next talking point, my neighbors are having like a motorcycle party, it seems like, and they just won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, dude.
I can go yell at them, but they ride motorcycles, so they're probably intimidating. They might start circling me in the middle of the street, and now I can't come back and record because I'm stuck being surrounded by bikers. I can't leave the circle.
Yeah. Probably just like a bunch of elderly women.
Yeah, maybe they have their like mopeds going and they're fucking...
They're rascals.
Yeah.
Souped up.
They got like a V17.
Oh yeah, dude. They got that V-Tech.
Yeah, V-Tech. I don't know cars. Just put that out there. So anyways, I apologize for the real shitty, audio quality. We got trains, we got airplanes, now we got motorcycles.
Dude, planes, trains, and automobiles.
Nice.
You almost missed that.
All right, so speaking of planes, trains, and automobiles, I saw a post on the subreddit that someone had been quote-unquote scammed by a player mod in the game. This has nothing to do with vehicles. But it brought up, I saw some comments that kind of changed my opinion on things a little bit. So what had happened, these people took a random with them to go to Bandos. This random was a player mod. They all agreed to split, as you probably would. You go there, player mod gets the Bandos drop. He gets a hilt, not a hilt. He gets a chest plate or something. Grabs it. He says, meet me at Varrock. We'll split. He teleports to Varrock, logs out. So this person comes on the subreddit, says he would like to have someone look into this, and that he should be banned for scamming, since he had stolen it. And at first when I was looking at this post, I was kind of all, yeah, this guy scammed you. What a scummy, and he's a player mod. What a piece of shit thing to do. What a shitty person. This guy should definitely be banned. But I had seen some comments that kind of made me go, wait a minute, I'm just kind of jumping into the circle jerk. Yeah, it just kind of changed my opinion. So that's the only reason we're kind of talking about this, so I'm not going to give the name of the player mod or the person who claimed to have been scammed, because kind of irrelevant. But a user on the subreddit named Here for Catharsis had made a comment that made me look at this scenario with a different eye, I guess. He explained that this isn't scamming, this is simply just lying, which is why it shouldn't constitute a ban. So what he had said, in my opinion, was a very solid argument. He says, the reason why it's not a scam is because if I said, give me 1 mil and I'll double it, and then I logged, that is a scam, because you just lost 1 mil. I have taken something from you. If I bait you into the wilderness under the guise of anti-scamming and take all your stuff that is also a scam. Now, if I said, teleport to Varrock, I'll give you 1 mil, you then teleport to Varrock and I don't give you 1 mil, have I scammed you? No. You did not lose anything of value. You just did not gain 1 mil that you were promised. This is also closer to related to anyone who says, I'm having a drop party in the Grand Exchange, he then does not drop anything. Should that person be banned? You can get why these reasons can be kind of stupid. So anyways, that's what he had said, which was kind of a good argument. Is not splitting when you get a drop a scam? It makes me think that it's not really a scam anymore. Is it a shitty thing to do? 100%. It sucks. Should someone get banned for doing it? I don't really think so now. Like that, I don't really think so. What's your opinion on this?
So if you go in with the agreement that if an item drops and you guys are splitting it, and the person doesn't split it, then they scammed you out of what was rightfully yours.
You think so, yeah?
Well, it's like a social contract, right? So,
yeah, okay, yeah. Now, is this a scam that should warrant a ban?
Well, it's really tricky because if I scammed you out of a dragon, like scam, I'm gonna just call it a scam. But if if I don't split a dragon pickaxe at like Callisto with you, should I be punished the same amount as if I didn't split a T-bow with you? If I don't split a T-bow, is that considered scamming? I think the issue is that people look at the amount of what is like being not split, and that's where they base their opinion on, which isn't really fair.
That's, I think, where things get tricky on whether you call this a scam or not.
If you're willing to say, I will split with you and we go to KBD and I don't split like a dragon pickaxe and I get banned for 2 weeks and I lose my PMod status or maybe a permanent mute, people will be like, that's pretty fucked up. But if I were to scam or like not split a T-bow with my buddy and I get a 2-week ban and like maybe a permanent mute or maybe one or the other, some people would go, well, that doesn't really affect him that much. 2 weeks later, he's got, 600 mil that he just kept. That guy should have been punished for 3 months. And the guy for the D pick should have been, so like, unless they're going to do a case by case basis, they can't really ban, they can't put like a blanket punishment for like not splitting. And I think you should be punished because if you're bossing with someone, unless you guys have an agreement that you're not going to be splitting, like typically if I go with someone, we don't have to say we're splitting, right? It's a social contract type thing where like you're bossing with someone, you're spending your time and your supplies to do content with someone, and you're getting cheated out of that potentially. Mm-hmm. Like regardless, you're still losing if someone doesn't split with you, even if you don't take in consideration the money they don't give you. You're still spending hours of time and the supplies to get there.
Yeah.
And you're losing out on it. So people might have a different opinion if it was a dragon pickaxe. Like if this post came up, a PMod scamming out of a D pick, people would go, lol. You know what I mean? That sucks.
It does get tricky when you have to do it on a case by case because a dragon pickaxe where it's not worth as much in general.
It's the same concept though.
Yeah, because it depends on who's going for it. What if these are low levels? To them, a dragon pickaxe could be worth just as much as a T-bow is to somebody else.
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
I get where you're going with it, but yeah.
So, like somebody who has billions of cash, they might get a T-bow and they're like, that's great, but it's not going to affect them as much. Whereas maybe the level, like let's pretend level 40s are just trying out KBD and they're struggling to kill it and they actually kill it. And it drops a dragon pickaxe. And if their bank value was worth like 100K, and now they're splitting 1 mil each, you know what I mean? It could have more value to them versus the T-bow to the player who's fully maxed and he already has a T-bow.
Yep.
It does get tricky. And then you start thinking, I start thinking, is it a similar scenario if me and 2 other people go into the wilderness and we agree to PK together and that person turns around and kills me and takes my items? Because we had agreed on fighting together against other people, and now I had lost an item because he backstabbed me.
The main thing is that, number one, the guy should lose PMod status no matter what. Regardless. Yeah. Even if he scammed like a 400K split intentionally. Like, the main thing is if you're a PMod, you're trusted by Jagex.
You're held to a higher standard for sure.
As you're supposed to be like a figure within the community. You're supposed to be somebody that has like integrity. I mean, honestly, RuneScape players, a lot of them are pretty scummy. I hate to like blanket, but like there's a lot of people that fucking scam and like, you know how many times I've been chatting with someone and then they like try to scam me into some shit and like the shitty, let's do some anti-scamming. I got this guy who wants to scam me. Let's and you're like, dude, I've been talking to you for 2 fucking weeks. I don't want to be involved with even in a real, like idealistic, you're not trying to scam me. I don't want to be involved in that. But like, it's very common for people to like not split with you. Hey, you've known a guy for a couple months and you just like, can I borrow this item? And then poof, they go. Like, it's very common for people to be scamming in this game because it's just how it is. And like, people and not splitting with someone is like a part of that game. Like, there's a reason why I don't PVM with people I don't know. There's like a lot of times where someone will say, hey, let's go do some Chamber of Xerix. All right. And then they like invite me and I don't know anybody in the group. I'll just immediately say like, I'm okay. I don't know anyone. And I just leave because I understand that there's like implications of chances are they're not going to split with you.
The chance is always there.
I always play it safe, and I will always assume that if I don't know the person personally, there's a threshold everyone has where they will not split with someone.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. Everybody has a number. They just don't know it yet. Like, I could say I would never scam. First of all, like, I haven't. I'm gonna just start off and say I haven't. But I have never had a number that makes me seriously consider I'll scam someone. Like, I've been lent T-bows and stuff, and it's not like, oh, I'll scam the person. But I guarantee you, if like someone traded me 10 T-bows, I would be like very tempted to not give it back. I mean, no one's gonna ever do that. And if you're listening, don't tempt me. Like, I don't, when people offer, like, I've had people like lend me Ellie's and T-bows, and I always say like, dude, no, get that shit off my fucking account. Like, I don't want to be tempted, and I don't want anything to happen where I can't pay you back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very like, I was like streaming, and like a friend of mine lent me his T-bow because he was like, I can get more points than you in a raid if you have a T-bow and I don't. I'm not gonna tell you what actually happened in the end because someone did get more points than me, and I don't want to talk about it. But the whole time I was like, dude, I'm really uncomfortable right now. Just fucking take it back. Like, I do not like it. But that's because I'm self-aware of like, I don't want to be tempted. Like, I don't want to like fucking ruin someone's like a friendship over fucking pixels. But people do it all the time. The only reason why I bring it up is because like, if you're bossing with someone and you're on like bandos, you should have that in mind. You should be willing to know them well enough that they're not going to scam you.
Yeah, you're always taking that chance. You know, I might go bossing with some people in the clan chat. You know, we all know each other pretty well. We're pretty good friends. Do I think they're going to take an item? No. Do I know the possibilities there? It's always there. You just, you know what I mean? You have to know that. You can't be stupid. At any point in time, somebody wanted to, they could take it. You know, but I'm willing to take that chance because I trust I trust more that it won't happen than I do trust that it could happen. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Which is what you guys should be doing. If you're going with some people, you know, they could be super trust. You might trust them a lot, but you have to know in the back of your head, it could happen.
If you ever have the thought of, fuck, I hope they don't get a unique in their name because they're going to, like, just don't fucking PVM with them. You know, I've had that where I've been doing a raid with someone and I'm like, they might actually scam me if an item drops. And it's happened and they've split it with me. And I'm like, okay, good. Like, you know, a code I want drops and they actually split it with me. And you're like, cool. All right, I can trust this person a little bit more. But in hindsight, I shouldn't be raiding with people that I don't fully trust. So that being said, like, I don't really think you should be banned for it. Mainly because if you were to put it into lower numbers of like a drag, no one should be banned over not splitting a D pick.
Yeah.
It's like if you can't apply this, like, unless you believe that someone should, then of course you can keep that statement. But like, I obviously have a different opinion when it comes to a T-bow and a dragon pickaxe. So it's kind of hard to say one or the other. So I just say like, no. There should be some sort of repercussions. Should
there be consequences and a punishment? Possibly. Should it be a ban? That's where I kind of go, I don't necessarily think so.
Can the community do something about it? For sure. There's what? RS Justice and like RS... What's the other site?
I couldn't find it. I can't remember the name of it.
There's RS Justice and I don't know, like RS... I don't know. There's RS like Retribution. I don't fucking know. There's two sites that you can like... You have sufficient evidence. RS... I don't know. I'm not even trying to think of the other site, but you can like put them up on the site and be like, with evidence, say these guys scammed, and it, like they won't be able to get into good clans and all that stuff.
Yeah, so you go onto this website. Maybe if you're going bossing with some people, check the website, see if they're on there. So it's just, you don't need to sign up. I don't see anywhere that you need to sign up. What you can do is you can go on the index of abuse. You'll type in. Let's go to Dilz. You click on D, Control F, type in the name Dilz, and oh my god, I got 14 reports. No, I'm just kidding. I got nothing. You type in the name, and then you'll see something like dead blank, did not splitting an Elysian spirit shield. Death blank, refused to split a Sarah sword and an Aram's crossbow with teammates. This player also looted another teammate on their death. And then it has, in quotes, proven, whereas the other one didn't have any. Another one, dead blank 2. There's so many dead stuff. I guess I'm in the D's. Accused of not splitting an Elysian spirit shield. In brackets, medium evidence. And then it has full evidence, some evidence, no evidence. So you can kind of look at it, and then, you can always check. Oh, this guy's on here, and oh, wow, he's scammed a lot. Oh, wow, look at this guy's got some evidence on him for account hijacking and stealing multiple items. Maybe I'm just going to step away a little bit.
Yeah.
You can check it, and you can always report it there. So there's a little bit of repercussions just like socially in the game. But for this specific example that we had talked about, there was a JMod who commented on it. So I guess we'll talk about that real quick. Mod Steve W says, we are already aware of the situation with multiple reports, refuses to go into detail, but there's a lot of evidence included when reviewing chat logs, abuse reports, and trade data. So they made a decision on an outcome and has been communicated. So it's likely that this player mod was probably lost his status, maybe muted. I think a mute is an okay punishment. You don't lose too much. You can't talk in your public chat or your CC. Okay, well, that sucks, but if you're in a Discord, you're not as affected by it. So yeah, just something I want to talk about. Might have brought up an interesting conversation on, scamming is this like gray line. There's it's a gray area where what is scamming, right? Is luring a scam?
The main thing is that due to the nature of this game, I think there are some games where I won't name specifically what game, but the company that the company that owns the game just doesn't ban people for doxing and shit like that, and real life harassments where people are getting doxed and really fucked with, and there's evidence on who's doing it in game, straight up evidence of this guy did it. Here's a recording of them talking about it, and them on TeamSpeak saying, "Yo, I'm gonna do it now." And then it happens at that time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they don't do it. So, obviously that stuff, people are being, that fucked up. You can do it. You should do something about it. There are games that are very extreme with, being hands-off. But I think due to the nature of Jagex being, sandboxed with how the content is, and the players are able to do these scams and, whatever, they have to be really careful in policing its players.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to start banning people for not splitting, then they have to have loot share come into the game.
Yep.
They have to start doing that. And if not, then they don't have a right. Because then it turns into I can forge. I would really like to see if I could forge, completely fabricate me saying that you scammed me out of a BGS or something, and seeing if I can get you an RS justice. I wonder if it's possible if I can straight up Photoshop an image where we haven't talked about bandos. We didn't do any bandos recently. I wonder how easy it would be to forge evidence and get you put up on a site. The issue is, how would I get you off the site? I wouldn't know how I would actually do that. Besides, I was just joking, by the way. Your site's fucking shit. But if you're able to do shit like that in Jagex with a small support team, doesn't comb through the evidence enough, and boom, somebody gets punished for something they literally didn't do. You can do it to opposite clanmates. Maybe someone just pisses you off.
Yeah, that's
they
the
say
thing
you're a
with the
big
clans
stinky
out there.
head, and now you got a vendetta against them.
Ooh, saying words you just can't take back.
I think the way they police the game right now with the scamming, some of it I think they should do a bit more when it turns into give me 7 mil, you won't regret it. That type of shit where it's straight up standing at the GE and max gear with max accounts scamming. I think they should do punishments like that. But when it comes to things that are more up in the air of a social contract of you just assume you're splitting, they can't really punish players on that. Yeah, unless they're willing to do a case by case basis.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So
yeah,
if you're again going bossing, maybe check out RS Justice just to see if their names are on there.
Or, know the person for more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, that too.
If someone ever has to say the words, "You can trust me," you can't trust them.
For the most part, yeah.
You know how many times I've had someone say, "You can trust me with this item," and I go, "No. Hey, could you trust me with this item?" No, I always try, like, if someone tries to pull that shit on me, I straight up go, "Are you fucking stupid?" Like, I have screenshots of people, like, trying to scam me out of some shit, and I will always be like, do you think I'm that dumb? No, like, I'm not, I don't trust you with my most valuable item in my bank. I don't trust you with my SGS. Why the fuck would I trust you with that,
Are you telling me you don't get convinced to trust somebody when they tell you to? Normally I'm playing and they say, "You can trust me," and I go, "Oh, thank God, I was wondering. I wasn't too sure, though."
Well, like, it happens to people all the fucking time, and it's really frustrating. It's especially with, like, let's go do bandos. Why? Let's make some money. Dude, we're both fucking max. Let's go do some raids. Dude, let's just do bandos. No, there's something you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, there's some game you're playing with me right now, and then, like, let me try and, like, poke. Oh, they just want to scam me out of an item to do bandos. Okay, cool.
You sound like you get scammed so often. Or people are always attempting to scam you. There's probably an RS Justice site version of, like, easy scam targets, and you're just on there or something.
It's just like my Discord or my Twitter picture. That's like the background page. Just my face. But anyways, blabbered too much about that.
No problem. That's about it for this week. I guess we will move it on to our lore. This week for lore, we're continuing with the bosses of Old School RuneScape. In this episode, we will be discussing the King Black Dragon. Currently, it is impossible to confirm the exact origins of the King Black Dragon. Rumors are that a dragonkin had created the King Black Dragon, although he failed in his vision on what he had hoped the dragon would be. It was unstable, and he had deemed him broken, so he was released into the wilderness. During the Second Age, Zeros had wanted this dragonkin to side with him. I cannot say whether he joined with Zeros or he remained neutral, but he would soon hear about another plot against him. He learned that Zamorak had plans to capture the dragonkin, so he fled into the wilderness where he encountered the King Black Dragon. The two of them then hid into an underground cave within the wilderness. Eventually, he had suspicion that his location had been figured out, so he fled the cave, but left the King Black Dragon behind, where the dragon still remains to this day. Alright, now it's time for us to close down the show. So, first things first, before we start wrapping everything up, did a little bit of digging, got a little bit of information on why skirts are so prevalent in the game. This isn't too much information, but I did a little bit of history digging, I suppose. So, are you familiar with a type of armor called a hauberk?
How do you spell it?
Hauberk.
Sounds familiar. Okay, yeah. It's like the chainmail, like, dress type thing that you'd say like a crusader wear.
Yeah, it kind of goes down, like, probably right past your crotch. It's not like a full-on dress. It's not really a skirt, but it's like in between a skirt and wearing nothing.
Yeah.
So this thing was developed... the earliest example of this thing existing was found in the Sumestai. Found in Sumestai. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But it is now what is known as modern Romania, and is dated to the 4th and 5th century BCE. Eventually, Roman armies did adopt similar technology after encountering it. The earliest surviving piece of armor that has been restored is in the Prague Cathedral, dating from the 12th century. Is the earliest surviving example from Central Europe, owned by Saint. Oh, geez, I don't. Should I say this name? It is
Saint Jagex.
Oh,
Santa Claus.
Savatislava. So Saint Savatislava. So thought that was a little interesting, but it's not really a good reason on why RuneScape has it, but there is one other piece of armor that might explain things. It really doesn't, but maybe it does. And this piece of armor is called a fold. Are you familiar?
How do you spell it?
Faulds.
Oh yeah, I've seen this before in my many video games.
Yeah, it's kind of like an accessory to your normal plate armor. This would kind of go around your waist, and it would protect like your hip area and some of your crotch, but you would still wear a chest plate as well as plate legs. This thing would just go. This would like protect the area between your leggings and your chest plate.
Mm-hmm.
So this first appeared in Western Europe in the year 1370, and it was just another piece of armor that would go in addition to what you're normally wearing. But during tournaments of this era, people wore a much larger version of the fold, which resembled a larger skirt. And this was called a tonlet.
Okay, I'm getting pictures of a bird in a video game. How'd you spell it?
Tonlet.
Oh, okay.
So this was used in tournaments, which looks more like... It looks like a skirt.
Looks dumb as fuck, I'm gonna be honest.
It looks pretty silly.
Do a curtsy.
Yeah,
it looks
like if you bent... Looks like if you bent over, you'd be getting some whistles.
Yeah. If you like stand over like a sulfur vent, you would just fly away.
Yeah.
You're like a helicopter.
Shit. And then from the 16th century onwards, many civilizations kind of put both the fold and tassets together. Tassets kind of shielded your thighs, which made it would just kind of extend the fold, which would make it look probably closer to like some sort of skirt thingy. But this is all the information I could find. It seemed to be like a commonplace thing throughout many different societies at different eras, but nothing that resembles from what we see in old school RuneScape. Nothing that looks like the plate skirt that you see that comes from the new Judiciaries.
Yeah, like the bandos. Like, okay, you know what? When it comes to like ancestral and stuff, this is what weirds me out. Well, doesn't weird. I'm not like fucking like, ew, what the fuck's with all these skirts? I'm not getting weirded out from it.
Yeah.
But what tickles my fancy is that the ancestral robes are more legging-esque than like you would expect that to be like a fucking robe. But there are like legging columns. It's like when a chick wears a skirt and TNA pants or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Where you're like, just one or the other. Come on. But like the tassets, you know what I mean? It's like, if anything, you would expect like that stuff to be more like legging related.
Well, for the tassets example, as we just read, the tassets were meant as another accessory. You'd wear that and it would protect your thighs. It was like an added armor to your thighs that would go underneath your fold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wearing them on their own, that's kind of a Jagex thing. But yeah, I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep looking around and doing some digging and see what I can find up over time. But I was kind of hoping I would find some sort of civilization that was like, no, yeah, we're like ancient Scotland and we're all wearing plate kilts.
I mean, it makes sense, right? You don't get super hot, but like...
Yeah, you don't got to take anything off to pee.
Yeah, true. You don't even have to do anything. You can just pee.
Yeah.
It just runs down the side of your plate skirt. But, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a mystery, but we'll get to the bottom of this one day.
Yeah.
And last thing to mention, the Blacksmith Bully giveaway did happen over the weekend. It looked like a fantastic time. Unfortunately, I got stuck doing some stupid IRL tasks and wasn't able to make it, but I'd seen screenshots and heard from people that it was an awesome time. So if you're interested in like events, there's a Fashionscape, a drop party, as well as a Portal game that went on that weekend. If you're interested in things like that, keep an eye out on our Twitter and other social media platforms. It's mainly Twitter and Discord that those get posted in. Facebook, it's kind of a pain in the ass to manage, to be honest, but I do what I can.
Yeah.
Anyways, the ways you could search for us on other platforms. Well, first things first, our in-game clan chat is WildCC. Our Twitter is @TheWildernessRS. Facebook is facebook.com/TheWildernessPodcast. Our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, our Discord is posted on both Facebook and Twitter. And a simple click, and you guys can come hang out there as well. And then, Deagin, this is where you go and say your stuff.
Twitch, Twitter, DeaginRS. I'm still having some really weird VoIP issues and stuff like that. I mean, I have to do like 20 minutes of preparing before we record, so my shit doesn't crap out on me. So I haven't really been able to stream.
Yeah, fair enough.
Twitter, I don't really post much. I do browse quite a bit. Starting to browse a bit more and more. I don't really know why I'm going on about this. You guys should follow and stuff. I'm like telling you guys not. I'm giving you guys reasons not to.
Fair.
Shit, I'm so bad at advertising. God damn, dude.
Come follow me on Twitter, and you won't see much. So there's really no reason to. No, I mean, you should. Do it.
You know what? Yeah, I think I'll do some sweet tweets of my epic PKs, and you'll see how many AG. I'm prepared to lose like 2 AGSs this week.
Yeah, that's.
I have some extra money set aside.
It makes for some great content.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So and guys, if you have any song requests you want to do let us know. I'm going to start maybe asking you guys on Discord and Twitter to send us to them. This way I'm not just going through a list that I have on my computer. I can see what other people enjoy, what some of your favorite musics are, because there's a lot of great tracks out there.
Coil.
Okay, we'll do Coil then.
I wanted the Coil. Okay, Derek. Okay, Deagin.
Coil is the music track that is unlocked during the fight with Zulrah. Unfortunately, we don't have an analysis this time. And the composer for this track was Ashleigh Bridges. And I do really enjoy this song. Sometimes I just throw it on YouTube and I just listen to it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks so much for listening to episode 93. Catch us next week for 94.
Have a good one.